Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're going to get into something kind of unexpected.
Yeah.
It's about those hidden struggles that can really make or break a movement. Even if it's fighting for something good, something positive.
Yeah, right.
Ever heard that saying, infighting is worse than the enemy?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Well, that's what we're going to unpack today.
I'm interested.
So this article, it's called The Challenges of Internal Conflict in the Freedom Movement.
Okay.
And this one really caught my eye because it uses these pro-freedom groups as a kind of case study.
Yeah.
We're talking anarchists, voluntarists,
Yeah.
folks who are all about individual liberty. And it shows how destructive this whole internal drama thing can get.
And for our listeners who might not be familiar with the term voluntarist,
Yeah.
it basically means someone who believes that all human interaction, all of it should be voluntary
Okay.
and free from coercion.
Got it.
Especially from the government.
So essentially, this article isn't just about politics.
No.
It's about any group of people, any group with a shared goal that can end up,
Tripping over their own feet.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
And one of the things that surprised me was how often people within the same movement, they can totally misinterpret each other's views,
Oh, yeah.
even when they agree on the big picture.
It's true. It's like they're speaking different languages, even though they're part of the same conversation.
Totally.
It's wild.
And the article really gets into this, how this misrepresentation can spiral, into personal attacks, gossip,
Yeah.
and we all know where that leads.
Toxic
Yeah, exactly. Toxic.
Which, let's be honest, who wants to join a group like that?
Right. It's
Yeah.
like, who wants to be in a club where everyone's at each other's throats all the time?
Exactly.
And you're not going to attract anyone new, that's for sure.
Yeah. You catch more flies with honey than vinegar, as they say.
Yeah, that's an old one. But it's true, right.
But it gets even more intense than that.
Oh, no.
Yeah, the article actually calls out character assassination as a real problem in these movements.
Whoa, character assassination.
Yeah.
That sounds brutal. Are we talking about, full-on smear campaigns, but within the movement itself?
It can get pretty bad.
Wow.
The article gives a couple examples of how, individuals
Yeah.
who have slightly different interpretations of, for example, self-ownership,
Yeah.
they ended up publicly attacking each other's characters instead of, having a healthy debate about it.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So not only are they, misrepresenting each other's views, but then they go and make it personal with these attacks.
It's self-sabotage at its finest, really.
Yeah, talk about self-sabotage.
Yeah.
Seems like this kind of behavior would just completely overshadow whatever the movement is actually trying to say.
It totally does. It
Yeah.
becomes a PR nightmare.
Yeah.
Instead of seeing a united front advocating for their cause, individual liberty, less government control,
Right.
people on the outside, they just see a bunch of infighting.
Yeah.
And they assume the worst.
It's like they're shooting themselves in the foot before the race even begins,
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, come on, guys.
It's tough to watch sometimes.
Yeah, it is.
And it's a shame,
Yeah.
because the article makes this point, all this infighting, it actually makes it harder for them to challenge the system.
Oh, interesting.
The very system they're trying to change.
So instead of being like a force for change,
yeah.
they're actually kind of holding themselves back.
Yeah, they're so busy fighting each other
Right.
that they're not even making a dent in the thing they want to change.
It's like they're distracted.
Totally. And get this.
Okay.
The article, it even suggests that all this infighting,
Yeah.
it might be obscuring a bigger issue.
What's that?
The system itself might just collapse on its own.
Whoa, hold on. So you're saying even if the movement just disappeared tomorrow,
Poof.
the system might still crumble?
It's possible, right? That's what they're saying.
That's a wild thought.
It is. It's like, look, even if you don't agree with this movement, you got to admit the system's got its own issues.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Right. It's not exactly a well-oiled machine.
No, not at all. It's more like, what's that saying?
Let me guess.
Rome wasn't built in a day.
And it didn't fall in a day either.
Exactly.
Exactly.
These big, complex systems, they don't just change overnight.
Nope. They kind of erode over time, even without a direct attack.
And so is that what the article is saying? That the system's going to erode on its own?
Well, yeah, that's part of it.
Okay.
But here's where it gets even more interesting.
Okay.
And this is where it's relevant for anyone who's trying to make a difference.
Okay.
They're so busy with these internal squabbles.
Right.
They're missing a chance to shape what comes after.
Ooh, I see. So it's not just about tearing down the old. It's also about having a plan for what you're going to build in its place.
Exactly. It's like if you're going to tear down a building,
Yeah.
You better have a blueprint for what you're going to put there.
Right. You don't want just an empty lot.
Exactly. You end up with chaos.
Yeah. And then what?
And that's why this whole conflict thing is so important.
Yeah.
If a movement is too busy fighting itself,
Right.
they won't be ready when the system actually weakens.
Oh, wow. It's like they're so focused on winning the battle
Right.
that they're missing the bigger war.
Exactly. They're missing the bigger picture.
That's a really good way to put it.
Yeah.
But it makes you wonder then,
What's that?
if these conflicts are so common and, they can be really destructive,
Yeah.
what's the answer? How do you avoid this trap?
Well, the article, it doesn't give like a simple solution,
Right.
but it does talk about the importance of, moving away from personal attacks
Mm-hmm.
and really focusing on like healthy debate.
Okay, so debating the ideas,
Yes.
not the people.
Exactly. It's about principles, not personalities,
Okay, I like that, principles over personalities.
Right. And this is where that self-ownership idea comes back in.
Oh,
Remember how we talked about that?
yeah.
Even within the freedom movement, there are different ways to interpret what it means to like truly own yourself.
Right, to own your labor, your property.
Exactly. It's not a one-size-fits-all definition.
Right.
So instead of seeing these different interpretations as like a threat,
Right.
the article, it's saying we should see them as a chance to learn,
No,
a chance to understand things more deeply.
So it's about being open to different perspectives.
Yes. It's about being intellectually curious
Mm-hmm.
and, being able to disagree with someone respectfully.
So, like, imagine if instead of those personal attacks,
Right.
they had an actual debate, publicly.
Oh, that'd be fascinating.
Right. Talking about self-ownership, what it means to them.
And how those different interpretations, lead to different ideas about policies and stuff.
It wouldn't just be about winning an argument.
Yeah.
It would be about actually understanding a complex issue.
And imagine how much more persuasive they would be
Oh, totally.
if they could do that, if they could show that they can handle these complex ideas.
It would show they're not just like blindly following something.
Exactly.
They're actually thinking critically about it.
It would make their argument so much stronger.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And that's why this article, it really stuck with me,
Yeah.
It reminds us that even though conflict can be messy,
Right, definitely.
it can also help us grow,
Right.
Help us refine our ideas.
Okay, I like that.
But it takes effort, We have to choose to move away from personal attacks.
Yeah, it's about being intentional, right?
Exactly. It's about being intentional and choosing a more, a more principled way of disagreeing.
Because at the end of the day, it's not about proving someone wrong. It's about, working together.
Finding common ground, maybe.
Yeah, finding common ground and creating something better.
Absolutely.
It's funny you should mention that.
What's that?
This whole conversation about self-awareness and disagreeing respectfully,
Right.
it reminded me of something else from the article.
Okay.
They talk about self-reflection.
Oh, yeah.
And not just how we talk to other people, but like how we approach the movement's goals too.
Yeah, that's huge.
Right.
It's so easy to get caught up in blaming everyone else.
Totally.
Like it's always someone else's fault.
Yeah, like, oh, it's the toxicity, it's the drama, it's them.
Right, exactly.
But the article's saying
Yeah,
we have to look at ourselves too.
absolutely. It's like that saying, when you point a finger at someone, there are 3 fingers pointing back at you.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Right.
So how do we actually do that though?
Yeah.
Like, how do you apply that self-reflection to a whole movement?
It's tough.
Right. It's not like we could put the whole group on a therapist's couch.
No group therapy sessions.
Right.
But, I think it starts with each of us
Okay.
taking responsibility for what we do, how we act.
Yeah, like owning our own stuff.
Exactly. And asking ourselves, am I actually part of the problem here?
Ooh.
Am I doing things that are actually hurting the movement?
Well, checking yourself before you wreck yourself.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
so easy to get caught up, right?
Oh, totally.
Especially when you're passionate about something.
Mm-hmm. You want to fight for it.
Yeah. And you end up saying things, doing things.
Right. Things you maybe regret later.
Oh, yeah, all the time.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
But the important thing is that we learn from it, right?
Okay, so it's not about being perfect.
No, not at all.
It's about being willing to learn and grow.
Exactly. And that goes for movements too,
Really?
They can learn from their mistakes. Just like people, they can come out of these conflicts stronger, more effective.
Okay.
It's about seeing those conflicts not as failures,
Right.
but as opportunities to grow, to get better.
I like that. So it's not about dwelling on the negative.
No.
It's
Yeah.
about learning and adapting and moving forward.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, this deep dive,
Yeah.
it's given me a lot to think about, that's for sure.
Yeah, me too.
I never realized how much these internal conflicts, how much they could impact things.
Right. It's not always obvious, but it can make all the difference.
It really can.
And it reminds us that making real change, lasting change, it takes more than just good intentions.
Right.
It takes, like we were saying, self-awareness,
Right.
critical thinking, being able to disagree respectfully, even when it's hard.
Because ultimately, it's not about winning or proving someone wrong.
Right. It's bigger than that.
It's about working together to create something better.
Absolutely. And sometimes that means putting our egos aside.
Yeah.
Checking our own biases.
Being open to hearing different perspectives.
Yes. Even when they challenge our own views.
It's about remembering we're all in this together.
Well said.
Well, that's it for our deep dive today.
That was a good one.
Into the challenges and opportunities, right?
Right.
Of navigating these internal conflicts.
It's so important.
We hope this got you thinking.
Yeah, keep the conversation going, right?
Absolutely. Keep exploring these ideas. Keep asking questions.
Hey, until next time.
Until next time.